Hello learners, in this session we will understand the topic culture to better understand organizational behavior. To start with, let's understand what do we mean by culture. Generally, it is a general term. We use it in our day-to-day life, that it is a combination of how a particular group of people eat, how do they dress up, the language they use, the festivals they celebrate, the tradition, rituals and norms they follow. Speaking of culture in business, we understand it as a term organizational culture, because when we want to understand organization behavior, just like as we were speaking that there are different cultures in different countries, so likewise every organization has different culture. And to understand organization as a whole, we need to understand what do we mean by the culture of that organization. What all does this organization culture comprises of? So, though it is a complex to understand, because just like people, organizations are also different. They have their unique personality. They have their uniqueness in terms of product, in terms of how they are delivering the product or service, in terms of what process or method they are using for producing their goods and services, or how they are endorsing and marketing their idea to people. So all organizations are different because different kind of people are working. So this uniqueness of organization is known as its culture. So the uniqueness of organization is organization culture. Organization culture is invisible yet very powerful force which influence the behavior of the members of that group. So when, let's say for an example, when we study in school, and we are studying under the CBSE board, so when we change the school, though every school is working on the same method, on the same process, the functionality of school is same. So how do we differentiate between one school and other schools? There must be several factors which differentiate them or bring their uniqueness, and we start calling them as different schools. Though everyone is working under CBSE board, the syllabus followed is same, the pedagogy taught is almost same, because there are certain types of pedagogies and the teachers pick any one of them. Okay, so how they are different? They are different because the behavior of people who are working in that organization is influenced by the culture. How do they talk to each other? How do they dress up? Do they give importance to cooperation? Do they believe in collectivism or individualism? There are many things which create the culture of an organization. So it is based on shared attitude, beliefs, customs, and written and unwritten rules that have been developed over time and are considered valid. These shared values strongly influence the people in the organization and dictate how they dress, act, and perform their job. So if you worked for HR profile and you have been administrating the payroll department in one organization, now for the growth purposes you have changed your organization, you've joined new organization, and the role is same. You will be handling the payroll department over there also, but you will see how they work, how they function is completely different from your previous organization. What kind of belief or values this new organization carry will differentiate it from your previous organization. Though your role is same and the job you will do is also same because the function is same, yet the way you are going to do it, the way you will stay there 9 to 5 will completely change. So this is organization culture, which is based on shared attitudes. Every organization develop and maintain a unique culture which provide guidelines and boundaries for the behavior of the members of the organization. So this culture tells us as to how we are supposed to behave in this organization. A culture is developed to be followed by new entries and also the people who are already working. They have to work according to the culture created by the organization so that everyone work on those shared beliefs and shared written rules. Many scholars have given different definitions of organization culture. Few definitions are also written here that organization culture is how organization do their things. So it is different for every organization. Also, it is a product of compensation. So how you are compensating is organization culture. Also, organization culture defines a jointly shared description of an organization from within. How the people who have designed this organization, who have been the founder of this organization, how do they see the other people in the organization is all about organization culture. Also, a very famous definition by Richard Perrin that it is the sum of values and rituals that serves as a glue to integrate the organization member. So no matter you come from different countries, no matter you come from different cultures, but when you join an organization, these differences of culture shall not hamper the essence of that organization's culture. So this culture is created so that no matter what differences you carry behind, what differences you carry in terms of your nationality, your community, when you enter this organization, this unique culture will bring in everyone who will stay together because the culture is demanding so. What are the features? First, uh, organization culture uh, is based on innovation, and the organizations which give importance to innovation, they encourage their employees to take risk and innovate in the performance of their job. So you will see that in many organizations, for example in Google, for example in Apple, we see that the culture of the organization is very innovative. They believe that every employee has the ability to innovate in his or her manner. Next is that organization culture is precision oriented. It means that the employee should be accurate to their work. So few organizations give due importance and attention to whether the employees are doing their work 100% accurately. Few organizations believe that if they are doing it 80 to 85%, then also okay. So it is also precision. It is also precision oriented. Next is organization culture is achievement oriented, which means that companies which focus on results but not on how these results are achieved emphasizes this value of organization culture. So there are many organizations which believe that the task should be achieved, the task should be completed, the objective should be achieved, and you can use many ways, many strategies to achieve that goal. Do not bind your employees following the only strategy which you were using in past and believing it will work for the future objectives also. So organization culture is achievement oriented also. It is fairness orientation, that culture is created by people. So these people bring in all those resources, objects which enhances the culture of an organization. But there are organizations which place a high value on people. They always pay attention that their decision will affect the people who are working with them. Here we can take the example of Tata Group of companies. This company is known worldwide for paying attention on the employees' needs, employees' farewell, employees' fairness. They always emphasize on people. So their culture is such that when you enter in any of the Tata's company, you will feel that the organization policies are framed in a manner that they give attention to your requirements and they want you to feel belonged with the organization. Um, Another one is that organization culture pay attention to teamwork also. So companies which organize the work activities around teams instead of individual, they place high value on the characteristics of the organization culture. So people who work for these types of companies, they tend to have a positive relationship with their co-workers and managers. Then there are companies who are competition oriented, which means such companies you will find a culture where group members are expected to be either assertive or easygoing when dealing with the companies they compete with within the marketplace. So here we see that organization culture can be competition oriented, can be people oriented, can be team oriented. So every organization value a different aspect. It can be teamwork, it can be aggressiveness, it can be competition. Okay, and they, on the basis of this value, they create a culture where they expect all the people who are working in that organization to work according to the value created or the culture created by the people on that orientation only. Now, how many types of organization culture are there? So Charles Handy, he defines that in an organization you can find four types of culture: power, role culture, task culture and person culture. So in all the organizations, if you have to categorize them, you can categorize them under these four headers. Now let's understand them one by one. Power culture. So the organization where we see power culture, this power is divided amongst few individuals, and these individuals spread this power throughout the organization. So there are few rules and regulations in such kind of organization. So people who have this power, they decide how things will take place. So employees who are working with such organization, they are generally judged by what they achieve rather than how they do things or how they act. So such organization are indifferent how or what method is used. They are more focused on whether the result has been achieved, the goal has been achieved or not. The second type is role culture, where the culture is based on rules. They are highly controlled, with everyone in the organization knowing what their roles and responsibilities are. So in organization where we find role culture, the employees are very clear about their roles related to their job profile and the responsibilities they have to perform. Here, in such companies, power is determined by the position of that individual in the organization structure. So role culture are built on the organization structure that are typically tall with a long chain of command. So here we can understand that such organization pay due attention on the position of the individual, and your position define your role and responsibility towards the organization, and here the hierarchy is taken seriously and everyone knows whom they have to report to and what is their role and what are their expectations from the organization. The next type is task culture. As the name suggests, you can guess that such organizations focus more on tasks. So, such culture forms when the teams in the organization are formed to address specific problem or progress projects. So, projects based organizations which work on projects which are always time bound. Such culture you can see where the focus is more on completing the task and the task is specific. Here the task is important, so power lies within the team, and this power may shift from one team member to another team member, taking care of the status of the problem or the project. With productive and creative, the right mix of skills, personality and leadership working in teams, task culture can flourish. The another type is person culture. So in such organization, individuals see themselves as unique and superior to the organization. So an organization with person culture is just a collection of individuals who happen to be working for the same organization. So here we understood that there are 4 types of culture, and this categorization helps us understand that there can be different bases over which different cultures can develop in the organizations. Now, what is the function of organization culture? There are several functions. The one is culture unites employees by providing a sense of identity with the organization. It is an informal control mechanism. Though there are several in organizations, there are several unsaid rules. There are several unwritten guidelines which are followed by the employees. So this organization culture, it creates this informal control mechanism. So people are many a times, because of the culture of the organization, are self-controlled. Then it is facilitation of open communication. Culture enables organization to differentiate themselves from one another. Culture often generates commitment, superseding personal interests. Culture sets organization norms, rules and standards. Thereby, culture enables the employees to function in an organization by teaching them how to behave. It is a shared understanding. When a new joinee comes in an organization, how he is supposed to behave is taught by that culture only. He see around him how the seniors are behaving, how the colleagues are behaving, how the subordinates are behaving, and this behavior is understood because it is shared by all the members who are working in that organization. Organization culture is very important for project-based organization, because in project-based organization the hierarchy is flat and decision making is moved to the program purpose units and departments. In such environment, culture provides the guiding light towards the achievement of the goals and objectives. Now, how the managers can manage the organization culture? It is actually a process, because every manager has the responsibility to maintain and to upgrade the culture which is set by the top management and the people who are working with this organization, who have created this shared belief, shared attitude towards the organization and its vision. So how a manager can manage the organization culture? It is a complete process, and you can read there are 9 steps which can help you manage this organizational culture. Let's understand each step in detail. So the first one is evaluate your current culture and performance. Now, what you can do is you can define your 1 to 3 critical performance priority. Like you want to grow, you want to be profitable, and you want customer satisfaction also. So you must decide some performance priorities. Now, once you have decided 2 to 3 priorities, performance priorities, you must identify the values and behavior which are required to perform. If you want the customer to be satisfied, there must be some sort of behavior which you want your employees to have, the values you want your employees to have, so that they can perform in the expected manner. Now, while identifying those values and behavior which will help the employees to perform in a required manner, you have to identify strength and behavior weaknesses. Now, once you identify, okay, these behavior weaknesses are holding my company, they are holding my company back, and my company is not able to achieve the full potential, then it is very much required that you evaluate or assess your current culture and performance. Once you have done this, the second step is to clarify your initial vision. You have to define your vision for improving the result with only one or two of the performance priorities. For example, be to growth, profitability and customer satisfaction. Now you have to clarify the initial vision, how you can improve your results. The third step is you clarify the values and expected behavior. So once you freezed the performance priority, and amongst these performance priority, you have clarified your vision, that you know how you will build a culture by leveraging the behavior, strength and improving the weakness. You have clarified the values and expected behavior. You now very much are clear as to which values can become company's strength and which behavior can be the weakness. So we have to improve our weaknesses and we have to strengthen our strengths. Next step is to clarify the strategic priorities. For example, if the performance priority is growth, your company wants to grow, okay, then you have to think of new product and services. Either you have to revise your sales strategies, you have to grow with current customers, or what you have to do is your performance priority. For that, you have to clarify the strategy. Which strategy will you incorporate to achieve that performance requirement, to achieve that performance priority? You have to make your team understand what do you demand out of them. The next step is engage your team in defining SMART goals. Once you are clear about the strategies which you want to incorporate, as the example suggests in step 4, that if your performance priority is growth, then you have to have some strategy. You might bring in new product or service. You want to revise your existing or previous sales strategy. There is some strategy clarification which is required. Once you are clear in your thought about the strategy, the next step is to follow the SMART goal, where S stands for specific, M stands for measurable, A stands for achievable, R stands for relevant, and T stands for time bound. When we want to understand what kind of goals we should have, we should understand in a smart manner that your goals should be specific, your goals should be measurable, they should be achievable. Goals which are imaginary and not practically achievable are only hallucinations. You can never practically work on such goals. You can never find the end result of such goals. So your goals has to be achievable, and what can be achieved can be measured. Now the goal should be relevant. If your company has a performance priority, then the goals which you will set up and the strategies that you are going to use, they should be relevant and time bound. Every goal should have a timeline within which you want to achieve it. Otherwise, the significance of that achievement or result will not benefit you. So you have to translate these goals to your team members at all levels in large organization, so that your team member understand how to work on their goals and to measure the impact of these results on the organization. The next step is clarify and track key measures. So you have to identify a small number of overall measures that will support top performance priority from the step 1, so that you now know what performance priority can be measured and over which factors you will measure, so that you can then motivate the team according to the measures. Then you need to maintain a management system for priority and goal, which means you have to track or monitor the performance priorities and goals throughout. This monitoring will help to adjust to focus on additional time and attention on top performance priority and value belief shift identified in the step 2. The focus must be on result and supporting the behavior shift through recognition, coaching, removing barrier. This step says that once you have streamlined the strategies and the people have started working on your priorities and the goals, then there are chances that they are not behaving in the required manner. So when you are monitoring their performance priority, when you are tracking their work performance, you will come to know what kind of behavior shift is required, and you can then communicate it to the employees. The next step is to manage communication habits and routines. The organizations which have a transparent and regular communication system are found to be more progressive. The attrition rate is low in such organizations because the performance of the employees are communicated to them in time, and they are also given space to understand what skills they lack to perform certain upgraded level of jobs and how they can achieve it. You are giving them the time and you are giving them the platform also. You are telling them clearly, genuinely, that this is your performance. So regularly scheduled sessions with two-way communication are very much required, where you are informing and discussing and telling people how they are doing, and you are also seeking suggestion requests from the employees also and feedback as to what they want to behave in a certain manner. Informal approaches are also needed to emphasize expected behavior and result, because behavior is a psychological aspect. You cannot all the time convince people over certain aspect by acting manager. Many a times you have to stop behaving formally and start your informal casual approach towards your employees. When you talk to them, you tell them how they can improve their performance, how they can streamline their behavior, which can help them achieve their goals. So informal approach is also needed. And the last step, which is very important, is to build the motivation throughout the process. When employees start working, they are quite motivated, and when they are for a long period of time working on the same process and every day they have same routine, it brings monotony amongst the employees. They may face several kind of problems which might lower down their motivation level, and this will hamper their performance and their productivity. So it is required that the manager must take into consideration the motivation, the consistent motivation should be there with them. Here the leaders can help in maintaining the required motivation level of the employees. Feedback and recognition can help throughout the process, because when you are progressing and you have achieved a target, you must celebrate it with your team members, and you must have a communication with them. uh, when you do not achieve it, when you did not get any progress, then you have to confront the reality, uh, and then re-engage your team to prioritize the adjustments. So every time you have to realign your team members, and you have to keep yourself as a manager and the team members motivated, so you can create the culture in the organization where even employees feel that there is no giving away, there is no giving up. When the manager has always been with us, guided us throughout the process, helped us understand the importance of the behavior which we have to reflect, this will create a very positive organization culture which will help the organizations and the individuals to grow mutually. With this, we end the session for this topic, organization culture, and thank you. We will meet in another session of organization behavior. Thank you.